My friends, happiness is not something you stumble upon. It's not something you wait for after you achieve all your goals, or once everything in your life is perfect. Happiness is a choice, and more importantly, it's a skill. You can train it, you can create it, you can build it every single day through simple habits that transform the way you feel, the way you live, and the way you connect with the world. Too many people think happiness will arrive once they get the raise, the relationship, the dream car, or the vacation. But you and I both know that's a trap, because the moment you get those things, your brain will already be on to the next thing. The truth is, happiness doesn't come from what you achieve, it comes from how you live daily. So today, I want to share with you two simple, yet life-changing habits that can increase your happiness immediately. Not next year, not next week, but right now. Gratitude is not just a feel-good emotion, it's the foundation of a joyful and fulfilled life. The moment you train your heart and your mind to see what's already working, what's already beautiful, and what's already abundant, everything changes. Most people live in a state of if only. If only I had more money, if only I had a better job, if only I was in a relationship, if only I looked different. That constant focus on what's missing steals their happiness. Gratitude is the antidote because it directs your focus on what's already here, and once your focus changes, your life changes. Think about this. Every morning you wake up, you've been given another day. That's not a small thing. There are people around the world who didn't open their eyes today, but you did. That means life is giving you another chance to live, to love, to grow, to give, to experience. Yet most people roll out of bed complaining about the alarm clock, about the weather, about their job. What they don't realize is that their first thought of the day sets the tone for everything else. If your first thought is frustration, the world looks heavy. If your first thought is gratitude, the world opens up. Gratitude is not just about saying thank you when something good happens. It's about cultivating a daily discipline of training your brain to search for the blessings you already have. When you train your brain in gratitude, you break the pattern of stress, worry, and comparison. You start noticing the little things, the smile of a stranger, the sound of laughter, the way the sun feels on your skin, the fact that you have food on your table. And here's the truth. When you appreciate the little things, the big things stop feeling so far away. The science is clear. Gratitude rewires your brain. Neuroscience shows us that whatever we repeatedly focus on strengthens the neural pathways in our mind. If you constantly focus on problems, your brain gets better at finding problems. If you constantly focus on gratitude, your brain gets better at finding blessings. Over time, you literally build the habit of happiness. That's why gratitude is not a random practice. It's a daily ritual. It's like working out your emotional muscles. The more you train, the stronger you become. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people stuck in the exact same traffic jam. One is banging on the steering wheel, swearing at every driver, filled with tension. The other turns on their favorite music, uses the moment to breathe, and thinks about how grateful they are to have a car, to have somewhere to go, to even be alive to experience another day. Same situation. Different focus. One person suffers, one person thrives. That's the power of gratitude. It doesn't change the circumstances, it changes you. Gratitude is also one of the fastest ways to break patterns of fear and anger. It's almost impossible to be grateful and fearful at the same time. It's almost impossible to be grateful and angry at the same time. The emotions don't coexist. The moment you shift into gratitude, you disarm the negativity. That's why whenever life feels overwhelming, the quickest way to shift is to ask, what's one thing I can be grateful for right now? It doesn't have to be big, it just has to be real. One of the most powerful practices you can adopt is starting your morning with gratitude. Before your feet hit the floor, take 60 seconds and list 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe it's your health, maybe it's your family, maybe it's the opportunity to chase your dreams, maybe it's just the fact that you're breathing. Those 60 seconds can completely shift your state of mind, and when you start your day in gratitude, you carry that energy into every interaction, every decision, and every challenge. Another practice is to express gratitude out loud to others. Don't just feel it, share it. tell the people around you what you appreciate about them. Send a message to someone you care about, reminding them of their value. Gratitude unspoken is like a gift never given. When you express gratitude, you don't just increase your own happiness. You elevate the happiness of the people around you, and that creates a ripple effect. Happiness spreads. Gratitude also transforms how you see challenges. Most people see problems as setbacks, but gratitude allows you to see problems as teachers. Think back on a difficult season of your life. Maybe it was painful, maybe it stretched you, maybe it made you question yourself. But looking back now, aren't you grateful for the strength it built in you? Aren't you grateful for the perspective it gave you? Gratitude turns obstacles into opportunities because it forces you to ask, how is this shaping me? What's the gift hidden in this challenge? That shift turns suffering into growth, and here's the truth. Gratitude is a choice. It's not about waiting until life is perfect. If you wait until everything is perfect to be happy, you'll never get there. Gratitude is about choosing to see what's good right now, even when things aren't perfect. It's about saying, I may not be where I want to be, but I'm grateful I'm not where I used to be. I may not have everything I desire, but I have more than enough to be thankful for. That mindset turns every day into a gift instead of a grind. Gratitude also deepens relationships. When you consistently notice and appreciate the little things in the people you love, you create connection. Relationships often break down not because of big betrayals, but because of the slow erosion of appreciation. When gratitude is alive in a relationship, love grows. When it's absent, love withers. Imagine telling your partner every day one thing you're grateful for about them. Imagine thanking your children for something specific they do. Imagine showing your coworkers appreciation. That simple practice doesn't just make them happier, it makes you happier too. Gratitude even impacts your health. Studies show that people who practice gratitude sleep better, experience less stress, and even strengthen their immune system. Think about that. Just by focusing your mind on what you're thankful for, your body responds by becoming healthier. Happiness and health are connected, and gratitude is the bridge. But here's the mistake most people make. They treat gratitude like an occasional holiday. They think about it on Thanksgiving, or when something big happens, or when life is obviously good. But gratitude is not supposed to be occasional. It's supposed to be daily. It's supposed to be a lifestyle. The happiest people aren't the ones who have the most. They're the ones who are grateful for the most. And gratitude is available to anyone, anywhere, at any time. So every single day you have a choice. You can wake up and focus on what's missing, what's wrong, what's stressful, or you can wake up and focus on what's beautiful, what's working, what's possible. That choice will determine the quality of your day, your week, your year, and ultimately your life. Gratitude is not a nice idea. It's a strategy for happiness. It's a habit that multiplies joy, reduces suffering, and transforms your entire state of being. Happiness isn't just a thought. It's not something that only lives in your head. Happiness is also in your body. The way you breathe, the way you stand, the way you move. All of it sends signals to your brain about how you should feel. Most people don't realize that their posture, their energy, and their movement patterns are programming their emotions every single day. That means if you want to increase your happiness, you don't need to wait for life to get better. You can change the way you feel right now by changing the way you move. Think about the last time you were sad or stressed. What did your body look like? Your shoulders were probably slumped forward, your breathing was shallow, your head tilted down. Now think about the last time you felt unstoppable joy. Your body was upright, your chest open, your movements energized, your face lit up with expression. The difference in emotion wasn't just in your mind, it was reflected in your body. And here's the secret, if you recreate the body of happiness, your brain will follow. That's how powerful your physiology is. Movement is one of the fastest ways to shift your emotional state. Why? Because motion creates emotion. Every time you move your body, your brain releases chemicals, endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, that instantly elevate your mood. It doesn't matter if it's a full workout, a short walk, or even just dancing to your favorite song. The act of moving tells your nervous system, I'm alive, I'm vibrant, I'm powerful. You don't need to wait for external events to feel better. You can generate happiness in your body right now. And let's be real, many people feel drained not because life is too hard, but because they're not moving enough. They sit all day, staring at screens, barely breathing, barely standing up, and then wonder why they feel stuck, anxious, or uninspired. The human body was designed for movement. When you ignore that, you cut yourself off from one of the greatest sources of energy and joy available to you. But the moment you get your body in motion, the fog lifts, the energy rises, and happiness flows again. You don't have to become a fitness junkie or spend hours in the gym to feel the benefits. Something as simple as a brisk 10-minute walk can completely change your state. Science shows that just a few minutes of movement can increase blood flow, oxygenate your brain, and shift your mood almost instantly. And when you combine that movement with intentional breathing, deep, powerful, rhythmic, you create an even greater shift in energy. Happiness isn't found sitting still, it's unleashed when you move. Another powerful truth, the body and mind are always in conversation. When you're stressed, your body tenses. When you're joyful, your body expands. But here's the part, most people miss your body can lead the conversation. In other words, you don't need to wait for your mind to change before you move differently. You can move differently first, and your mind will catch up. That means if you're feeling low, don't wait to feel like it. Before you move first, and the feeling will follow. This is why some of the happiest, most energized people you see are the ones who treat movement as non-negotiable. They don't exercise just for their body. They exercise for their mind, their heart, their happiness. They know that when they move, they're training their nervous system to live in a higher emotional state. And once that becomes a daily practice, happiness stops being random and starts being consistent. Movement is also about breaking patterns. When you're stuck in worry, stress, or negative thinking, the fastest way to interrupt that cycle is to change your physiology. Stand up, stretch, shake out your body, take a run, dance, jump, do push-ups. Whatever it takes to jolt your system into a different state. Once your body changes, your brain can no longer run the same old pattern of negativity. That's why so many people say they get their best ideas or clearest thinking while walking or exercising. The movement itself breaks the mental clutter. And don't underestimate the joy of playful movement. Somewhere along the way, adults forget how to just move for the fun of it. Children don't need a gym membership to experience happiness. They run, they jump, they roll around, they laugh while moving their bodies. That's a secret many grown-ups have forgotten. Movement doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be rigid. It can be dancing in your kitchen, playing a game with friends, or even just moving to music that lights you up. When you bring play into your movement, you invite happiness back into your life in its purest form. There's also a deeper connection between movement and confidence. The way you carry yourself physically affects how others see you, but more importantly, it affects how you see yourself. When you stand tall, shoulders back, head high, moving with intention, your body tells your brain, I am confident, I am strong, I am capable. Confidence breeds happiness because it's impossible to feel powerless and joyful at the same time. Your posture and movement are silent affirmations of who you believe you are. Even your breath is movement, and it's one of the most underrated tools for happiness. When you breathe shallow and fast, your body signals stress. When you breathe deep and full, your body signals safety and calm. That's why in stressful moments, pausing to take 3 deep, powerful breaths can instantly shift your state. Your breath is always available. It's free, and it's one of the most powerful ways to change how you feel right now. Some people say, I don't have time to move. But the truth is, you don't have time not to. Think about how much more effective, focused, and joyful you are when your energy is high. Movement isn't stealing time, it's multiplying it. A body in motion creates a mind in motion, and a mind in motion creates a life filled with momentum and happiness. The cost of not moving is far greater than the cost of moving. So the real question isn't whether movement works, it does. The question is, are you willing to make it a daily habit? Are you willing to use your body as the tool it was designed to be? to generate joy instead of waiting for joy to find you? Happiness doesn't come from sitting back and hoping. It comes from standing up, moving forward, and creating it in your physiology first. When you move your body with energy, your life responds with energy. When you move with purpose, your emotions follow with power. And when you move daily, happiness stops being a mystery. It becomes your natural state. Happiness is often misunderstood. Most people think it comes from what they get: money, success, recognition, love. And yes, those things can bring moments of joy, but lasting happiness, the kind that fills your soul and doesn't fade when circumstances change, comes from what you give. Contribution is the ultimate source of fulfillment. When you shift your focus from what can I get to what can I give, you step into a higher level of life, one that creates meaning, purpose, and joy that nothing else can match. Think about it. When was the last time you gave something of yourself to someone else and felt that surge of joy? Maybe you helped a friend in need. Maybe you surprised someone with kindness. Maybe you gave your time, your energy, or just your presence. In that moment, didn't you feel more alive? Didn't you feel connected to something bigger than yourself? That's because giving isn't just an act. It's a state of being. It aligns you with the deepest part of your humanity. Too often, people chase happiness by accumulating. They think, when I get more, I'll finally feel whole. But accumulation without contribution leads to emptiness. You can have all the wealth, all the success, all the possessions, and still feel a void if you're not giving beyond yourself. On the other hand, even in the midst of struggle, even when you don't have much, giving can light you up and remind you of your own strength and abundance. Giving doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't mean donating millions or starting a foundation. It can be as small as a smile to a stranger, listening fully to someone who needs to be heard, offering encouragement when someone is discouraged. The power of giving is not in the size of the act, but in the intention behind it. When you give from the heart, the impact is immeasurable, and the first person it transforms is you. One of the greatest lies people believe is, I'll give when I have more. More time, more money, more energy. But giving is not about what you have, it's about who you are. If you can't give with little, you won't give with much. True giving isn't about the resources in your bank account, it's about the richness of your spirit. And the moment you decide to make contribution a daily habit, you tap into a level of happiness that no amount of getting will ever give you. Contribution also shifts your perspective. When life feels heavy, when problems seem overwhelming, giving pulls you out of your own head. It reminds you that you're not the only one struggling, that your life has power to touch others. Suddenly, your problems shrink in comparison to the impact you can make. Giving gets you out of the prison of self, focus, and into the freedom of connection. That shift alone can turn despair into hope, loneliness into connection, and emptiness into joy. There's also a spiritual dimension to giving. Call it karma, call it universal law, call it the circle of life. But what you put out always comes back. When you give love, you receive love. When you give kindness, you receive kindness. Maybe not from the same person, maybe not in the same way, but life has a way of multiplying what you contribute. The happiest people are not the ones who hoard, but the ones who pour themselves out knowing that the act of giving makes them richer. And here's the beautiful paradox. When you give, you actually discover who you are. You find strength you didn't know you had. You realize your life matters. You see yourself as someone who has something to offer. That sense of identity, of knowing you make a difference, is one of the most powerful sources of happiness there is. Happiness built on getting can be taken away. Happiness built on giving is unshakable, because no one can take away the joy of what you've shared. Contribution doesn't just impact others, it transforms relationships. Imagine if every day you asked your partner, "How can I love you better today?" Imagine if you walked into work thinking, "How can I add value to this team today?" Imagine if you greeted your friends not with what you need from them, but with what you can give to them. That kind of presence, that kind of intentional giving, deepens bonds and creates connections rooted in trust and love. Happiness in relationships comes not from keeping score, but from giving freely. Giving also creates a ripple effect. When you serve, inspire, or encourage someone else, they carry that energy forward and pass it on to others. A single act of kindness can travel farther than you'll ever know. You might smile at a stranger, and that stranger goes home and treats their family better. That family member goes to school or work and passes it on to someone else. Before you know it, your small act has multiplied into a wave of impact. That's the beauty of giving. You'll never fully know how far it reaches, but you'll always know it matters. And remember this, giving doesn't deplete you, it expands you. Many people resist giving because they're afraid they'll lose something. But the truth is, the more you give, the more you discover you actually have. Gratitude and giving go hand in hand. The more grateful you are, the more you want to give, and the more you give, the more reasons you find to be grateful. That cycle creates a happiness that is deep, authentic, and lasting. The secret is to make giving a daily habit, not a rare occasion. Don't wait for the holidays. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you think you have enough. Ask yourself every day, how can I give today? Who can I encourage, serve, or uplift right now? That daily practice turns contribution into a lifestyle, and once it's a lifestyle, happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you live. There's no fulfillment in a life lived only for yourself. The human spirit was designed for connection, for contribution, for significance beyond the self. You're not here just to consume. You're here to create, to serve, to give. And when you step fully into that truth, happiness becomes more than a fleeting emotion. It becomes the natural result of living a life that matters, a life that gives beyond itself. Because at the end of the day, happiness isn't about what you accumulate, it's about what you contribute. It's about the lives you touch, the love you share, the difference you make. And when you live in that space, every day is filled with joy, because you know deep in your soul that your life is not just about you, it's about something greater.